Hey enchanters, it's me. It's Chris, in case you couldn't figure that out. Happy Saturday, and yeah, so we're on to chapter 1 now. So if you didn't get a chance to go through the material for the introduction, you could go back to it. Just stay with the course. Just keep moving forward, because basically each week we are looking at a different aspect and archetype of you and how to apply that to your branding and different ways that you can, play with that. So it's not necessary to get what was in intro to get this week, right? Just, dive in right here, right now. Be very present the with the new material. So this chapter is called The Rules of Enchantment, and it's all about sovereignty, a great and really important topic for entrepreneurs. Well, anybody, but, in the context of how we're looking at it is, how are we giving away our power or not claiming our power to make decisions? Do we give power away to other experts, authorities, our teachers, our coaches, all of that? So, the sovereign is the vision holder. The sovereign is the boundary setter. They know the whole topography of their realm. They know the boundaries, and they keep them. But an important distinction to remember is that the sovereign is not a manager. This is not a person that is actually necessarily implementing everything. This is the person, the part of you that protects the vision, the big picture. You know what I mean? So I'm going through So there's the usual chapter review. There's a little bit of an intro and a poem to bring you into the topic, and then there's a lot in this chapter. So if you don't get through everything, don't worry about it, and you may want to just kind of go through this guide for this week and highlight. Okay, this seems like something I really want to do right now. That's the whole idea behind being a sovereign being, is prioritizing, like, what is really important to me right now? What do I need? What does my business need? As opposed to, well, Chris made this document, I'm going to follow it point by point, which is being a good student, but maybe not necessarily being true to yourself. So this week, really integrate that in, that this is about what is your truth, what is good for you, what works for you, okay? So we have the rules of enchantment, where you're going to kind of think about, what are your office hours, like what kind of boundaries do you have in place, what kind of a container do you have for your business? Are you just like all over the place? Do you have a plan? Do you at least know what kind of customers you want to take? So there's just some questions that you can look at. And there's a section on, stop multitasking. And, as an experiment, maybe just do one day, pick one day this week where you are not allowed to multitask. So one of the things is, a lot of people keep their email open all day, or their Facebook open, or their bleeps and blings and all kinds of stuff happening. So, take a day and schedule, okay, this project is going to get done on this day, which means I'm not going to check Facebook, I'm not going to check email, or I'm only going to check email 2 times, once at 9 a.m. and then once at 4 p.m. Or once at 9 a.m., once at 1 p.m. and then once at 5 p.m. So, which means that you keep it closed until those times. Anyways, so that's part of that. And then there's a whole exercise where you can create your own media cleanse and sabbatical, and some tips on how to schedule it and do it. So if that's something that you'd like to do, go for it and mark it in your calendar. But again, this is something that you could always come back to. And if you need an accountability buddy for any of this, post in the Facebook group that you'd like an accountability buddy, and then we can match up people that want partners to maybe work through some of the exercises together and to keep each other accountable for being the sovereign, for self-care, for doing what we say we're going to do. It can be very helpful. I have reflection questions. There's the myth of Inanna, abbreviated, and the myth of the loathsome lady from the Arthurian cycles. Again, these are abbreviated so you can, they're shortened. I certainly can recommend that you go find the longer versions if you have the time. If you're really interested in Inanna, I think I have the book here. Do I? Yeah. This book called Inanna, Queen of Heaven and Earth, Her Stories and Hymns from Sumer by Diane Wolkstein and Samuel Noah Kramer. This is a great book. I was with Inanna basically all of 2014. She was kind of like my guiding goddess, so a lot of underworld stuff and sovereignty. It's her story is amazing. So I have reflection questions based on the version in the book. And you could also find, if you go to Google and type in Inanna, there's a ton of stuff online about Inanna. And then I've just found more research on the archetypes of sovereignty with Jungian psychology, and I found some really interesting stuff. So I tried to put maybe more in there than I normally would have, but this is just research-oriented stuff to amplify what's in the book and, maybe give you something else to check out. But one of the things that I loved was this idea that the queen, for the, as far as feminine archetypes, the queen is like the center regulating the other archetypes. So in this one lady's website, her name is Sheila Foster, it was really cool. So she basically had the queen in the center, the mother archetype in the north, the lover archetype in the south, the Amazon archetype in the east, and the medial in the west. So the medial is like the shaman woman, the high priestess, more of the magical in-between worlds. So medial, right? That's where that comes from. So you can read more about those archetypes and how they work together on her website. I have a link to that. And then I found King and Queen Archetypes by Carolyn Miss. She's got some good stuff. And then I found some really great masculine archetypes. So like the queen and the lover and all of that, there's the king. The masculine versions from the Jungian are the king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover. And this is from a book about the 4 mature masculine archetypes. And if you go to there's a guy, a guy's website, I put a link to it, and he's referencing a book, and it's not a book I've read, but it looks like it's really good for the masculine archetypes. And after all the research, there's the weekly assignment to post in the group. So this is the My Mythic Brand exercise, page 37 in the book, but I modified it and improved it because I think the book version didn't really give you enough prompts to really figure out what your archetypal resonances were, and so it's great. So the wonderful thing about CreateSpace, I could go and change the manuscript and upload it so the newer version of the book can have all of this. But so follow the prompts and definitely set a timer for 12 to 15 minutes. You're not allowed to edit. It's just stream of consciousness writing. What's the first answer, the second answer? Let the answers just flow out of you. And I have a fly sitting on my head, and now he's sitting on my face. And I put down my answers in italics just as to give you a little bit of an example of what mine look like. Yours may look totally different, but just sometimes it helps to see an example. And then we have some more meditations. We have a chakra breathing exercise, and and a body prayer. And the body prayers I think are really great because, you know, I've been into dance now for 4 years, and I think any sort of embodiment practice where we're taking in this archetype, in particular the sovereign, and doing the body prayer to bring that further into our body. And should the sovereign take the fly swatter and kill the fly, or should I off with its head? No, I think I will let it live. But anyways, it's 10:23 minutes into this, so maybe the fly is telling me that I'm, you know, taking too long to do this. Have a great week. If you have questions, post them in the Facebook group. If you want to send me anything privately, my email is Krisoster, KRISOSTER, @gmail.com. I have other email accounts, but for some reason they're not working well right now, so don't send to the other ones if you have other ones for me, okay? Have a blessed week. I'll see you soon.